So let's read this new note from Morgan Stanley on Tesla. Services hit 10% of sales. China exposure falls and AI infrastructure up 63% year to date. Some changes in the business mix that may be getting overlooked. Mostly, recurring services and other revenue reached 10% of total Tesla sales as the car pack, they're just talking about the number of vehicles on roads, approaches 7 million units. And the size of Tesla's vehicle fleet is going to become increasingly more important over time. These are, of course, computers on wheels. Customers can, for example, subscribe monthly to FSD, pay for over-the-air upgrades, improvements, features, never mind potential future revenue for subscriptions, many services, all kinds of stuff. Just about everyone watching owns a smartphone. You probably didn't just buy the smartphone and never transact on the device. You've most likely subscribed, purchased games, apps, services, one-offs. That's where Apple makes a bulk of their money. The more vehicles on roads, the more customers Tesla has that now and more importantly in the future can bring in extremely high margin software revenue, services revenue. Oh, and then there's the whole potentially awaken and become a robotaxi and print money while its owner sleeps. China revenues fell to the lowest in years at 18.2% of sales. Not a big deal, which I'll discuss momentarily. And AI infrastructure assets are booming this far and away. The most important thing to understand. As Tesla continues to diversify away from the auto industry and towards the autonomous industrial complex, we wanted to highlight some interesting information that, while they didn't grab any headlines, story of Tesla's life, may be consequential over time. Services and other revenue is growing fast. Revenues from these operations hit $2.6 billion in the second quarter. This is 10.2% of total company revenue in the second quarter of 2024 and 9.7% of sales. That's on a trailing 12-month basis. It's notable that the services and other revenues increased 21% year over year, while automotive revenues decreased during the same period. The increases were primarily due to, quote, increases in non-warranty maintenance, services and collision revenue, used vehicle revenue, insurance services revenue, paid supercharging revenue, and part sales revenue. Morgan Stanley adding that we note that these services revenues should largely grow in line with the growth of Tesla's installed car population, which we forecast to rise to 24 million units by 2030. By the way, I think they're massively underestimating, but even if they're not, that's a pretty massive fleet. We also note that the margins derived from the after sales and service of the car fleet are typically far higher than point of sale margins. Now, Morgan Stanley wading into dangerous waters here by assuming that Tesla is going to capture comparable services related margins to a typical car company. Time will tell, but Tesla has in fact signaled to the marketplace that they don't intend on printing insane amounts of money on service. However, we are talking about services and other revenue, which includes things like supercharging, insurance, not just servicing, maintenance, collision repair, and so on. But the point here is I wouldn't be counting on Tesla's services and other business being more profitable over the long term than their actual automotive business. I'm not saying it'll be one way or the other, it's just a dangerous assumption to assume that Tesla's business will look like a car business. China sales have peaked, will likely continue to fall as a percent of total revenue from here. Tesla's China-sourced revenues accounted for 18.2% of total Tesla revenues in the second quarter. While this line may exhibit seasonal volatility in the quarters ahead, we expect the long-term trend for Tesla's China exposure to continue to fall systematically. So this should be expected. Today, as I record this, Tesla still does not sell vehicles in many countries globally. Over time, they will. Eventually, they'll be selling them everywhere. So if we think about this logically, and if that's the case, and if Tesla currently sells vehicles in China and has been doing for years, actually, we'll call it a decade plus, including the S and X before the Shanghai production was being sold locally and exported, it follows that if Tesla begins selling vehicles into new markets that they're not currently selling vehicles into, those markets will go from 0% of Tesla revenues to more than 0%, and that's got to come from somewhere. For example, today, Tesla's revenues selling vehicles in South America, let me see here, anyone in the audience want to participate? Yeah, you over the back, 0? Yeah, that's right, nothing, 0, zip, zilch, fuck all, I think would be the technical term. Tesla's current revenues from the entire region of South America, fuck all. In the future, that's going to be slightly more than fuck all. How about Africa? Fuck all. India, fuck all. Those are pretty large regions we just talked about, South America. Yeah, so the point, of course, over time, just like Tesla's, quote, market share in the United States, which is still today around 50% of all electric vehicles sold, ain't going to stay there, bro. But that doesn't tell us anything. What we really want to be focused on is how about Tesla's global revenue. So I do agree with Morgan Stanley. I mean, obviously there can be some volatility. I don't know exactly where it ends up, but it's a logical conclusion that if Tesla is today not selling everywhere and in the future they will be selling everywhere, the percentage revenue share they have in any market today is going to become diluted as they start selling into other markets because they can only have 100% revenue. You've got to divide that between wherever they're selling. By 2030, we forecast that China accounts for approximately 10% of Tesla auto unit volume and between 6 and 7% of total group revenue. We recently asked the question, what is Tesla's future in China? In our opinion, if Tesla or any other US company were to solve the Robotaxi problem, we believe it would be highly unlikely that company would be allowed to offer such technology within the People's Republic of China. The dual-purpose element of embodied AI carries obvious national security sensitivities. Now, I'm still on the fence regarding this. It's certainly true that if the CCP wants something or doesn't want something, they get their desire. But riddle me this. If, for example, Tesla had mountains of data showing they had an incredibly safe, as in life-saving, injury-preventing, permanent disability-avoiding software to operate vehicles autonomously in China, and let's just say hypothetically that the government in China decided that, hey, you know what, less of our citizens dying would probably be a good thing. Does anyone else have a piece of software that's at least as safe? No? Awkward. So what do we do? Approve Tesla's software and robotaxis or knowingly allow lots of our citizens to die? It's hard to know what the CCP is going to want, but the point is, whatever they want, they get. And now the big one, which I'm incredibly happy to see is being discussed in a note from Morgan Stanley. Tesla AI infrastructure base is by far the fastest rising part of its asset base. Tesla only began breaking out its AI infrastructure capex and net asset base from Q1 2024. According to the note on page 17 of their Q2 10Q filing, Tesla's AI infrastructure net assets stood at $2.5 billion, up 63% from the $1.5 billion at the start of the year. Okay, just to be clear, we are talking about a single quarter. We note that the same footnote shows, quote, construction in progress at $6.8 billion, which, among other items, includes AI-related assets which have not yet been placed in service. Something gigantic AI training cluster in the south of Giga Texas. We reckon investors will be paying closer attention to the growth of this infrastructure base as Tesla provides greater disclosure on its generative AI and embodied AI efforts. So to be clear, Tesla currently literally, and I do mean this literally, spending billions of dollars on AI every quarter. Kind of a weird thing for just a car company to be doing, right? Wonder why they'd be spending all this money on AI. Morgan Stanley says, why do we remain overweight Tesla shares? We believe Tesla has significant attributes to be valued as an AI beneficiary, but the company must see a stabilization in the negative earnings revisions within the auto business first. So I just want to pass this statement. I actually think it's probably true. However, let's just think about this for a moment. Morgan Stanley and I believe that Tesla has significant attributes to be valued as an AI company. Like, the fleet, the data, we're seeing what FSD 12.5 now is doing, the humanoid robots, never mind the Dojo chip. Okay, clearly, Tesla is one of the world's leading AI companies. Whether or not you see it, doesn't matter. They are. So this part is obviously true. Morgan Stanley then go on to say, but the company must see a stabilization in the negative earnings revisions within the auto business first. So let me explain what we're hearing here. Tesla is obviously an AI company, one of the world's best, but dumb fuck investors can't see that until they stop panicking about the unrelated automotive business first. I mean, the thing is, I think Morgan Stanley have a point. I mean, this is how dumb people are. There's so much fear and panic around the soon-to-be sideshow, the rounding error that is the automotive business and its cyclical nature. The people just, I'm going to ignore all the AI stuff until I stop panicking about gross automotive margins. They continue. We do not believe Tesla will get credit as an AI company as long as core auto earnings are being revised down. Oh, God. Oh, it's just so funny because they're probably right and it's just so fucking dumb. And again, I think a lot of investors out there are just really fucking dumb too. Again, I want to emphasize what they're saying here is that they believe that investors with very small brains, but lots of emotions, will completely disregard what they're seeing with their own eyes, completely ignore what Tesla's doing with AI, just doesn't exist until an entirely unrelated aspect of Tesla's business ceases to cause them to be scared. And they wrap up by saying, this process may take a few more quarters to see through. And between you and I would love that to be the case because I am still buying with every spare cent. And the longer people ignore what Tesla's doing with AI, the cheaper I can buy the stock and the happier I am. We reiterate our overweight rating on Tesla with a $310 price target. Now, you've got to give credit to Morgan Stanley. They've been quite consistent with this. As I record this, Tesla's less than $220 per share. And it seems maybe 6 or so months ago, Morgan Stanley really drew a line in the sand and said, yeah, fuck this, right? We're actually going to have a price target that we believe reasonably accurately reflects what we think the company's worth. And we're not going to chase the stock, no matter what it does, up or down. Although, in fairness, I have a funny feeling, let's just say, hypothetically, Tesla stock was $600 tomorrow. I have a funny feeling we might see Morgan Stanley reverse engineer a new price target that was closer to that. But the point is, they haven't chased it down because Morgan Stanley, unlike many of their colleagues and a lot of investors, are focused on the AI element of Tesla's business. They're seeing what's around the corner instead of being myopically focused on gross automotive margins over the next couple of quarters. And they're acknowledging this. So I've got to give them credit. Our thesis on Tesla is that it is both an auto stock plus an energy stock and an AI and robotics company. In fact, our valuation of the core auto business at $59 a share represents just 19% of our $310 price target. Negative developments in the global EV market very much matter to Tesla and should reasonably have a negative near-term impact on the price of the stock. Now, again, I just want to point something out, right? So let's just say that Morgan Stanley are right. Their Tesla valuation, the auto business represents just 19%. Let's just imagine in an extreme scenario that they deleted the EV business entirely. They're still at $250+ per share, excluding the EV business. At the same time, however, we believe investors should not ignore the continued developments of Tesla's other plays, many of which are auto-related, i.e. the recurring revenue opportunity from the Tesla fleet, which by the way is massive, embedded in our Tesla Network Services valuation, and other areas that we do not include within our $310 target, but that the market may include, i.e. energy storage and Optimus. Now we're looking at Exhibit 1 here, Tesla's services and other business, which is nearing 10% of their trailing 12-month sales. Now clearly this is a little bit volatile, but a trend is starting to appear. Since first quarter of 2022, it's only gone up. And now we're looking at China revenue as a percent of all Tesla revenue. We can see a fair amount of volatility here. Interestingly enough, the 18.2% we saw in the second quarter of this year, just slightly under the 18.8% low in the fourth quarter of 2022. Now the chart on the left here, a little hard to read, but we can see here AI infrastructure up 63.4%, towering over construction in progress, tooling, computer equipment, leasehold improvements, land and buildings, machinery, equipment, vehicles, office furniture, and other bullshit as well. So if this is anything to go by, judging based on where Tesla's putting their money, it's the same place their mouth is, which is hello, AI. There's a saying that comes to mind, follow the money. In this context, we can see pretty clearly where Tesla's priorities are based on where the money's going. Tesla clearly quite serious about autonomy, and Morgan Stanley also quite right in identifying the fact that most investors are completely ignoring the AI elements of Tesla's business, not because they don't exist, they're not visible, not because they can't be seen or forecast or understood. No, because investors are crying in the corner, scared and asking for daddy to please hold them and tell them that everything is going to be okay in the automotive aspect of Tesla's business. And until that happens, until daddy tells them that everything's going to be okay and gives them a few pats on the head, there, honey, everything's fine, they're too scared to open their eyes and see the AI opportunity, therefore it doesn't exist. I wish I was joking. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. Plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend, seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.